Hi everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Kiara Simmons-Wood, and I'm the Events and Marketing Executive at Charity Digital. I'm going to be your host for today's session and would like to give you all a very warm welcome. So today's session on nonprofit journeys toward digital transformation is sponsored by Microsoft Data Center Community Affairs, which partners with charities to help them achieve more with digital. Microsoft is partnering with Charity Digital and TechSoup to deliver the upcoming Nonprofits Digital Transformation Project, which will provide 2 eligible charities with 4 months of free support and advice on how they can better use digital, which is also the subject of this webinar. This session will be delivered by Joel Hogan, Charity Digital's own Programs Manager, and the session will cover the first steps for charities on the path to digital transformation, how charities can build a digital culture within their teams, and challenges that non-profits can expect along the way. We'll also hear from Chris Lines, Territory Channel Manager for Microsoft Tech for Social Impact, as he explains how Microsoft are helping charities become more digital, including the offers that can help them digitally transform at a discount. Now, just before handing over to Joel, I just want to share a few house rules and pointers for today's session. The session is being recorded and will be uploaded to watch on demand within a week's time. The slides and other resources will also be made available to you by the end of the day, so don't worry if you've missed something. During the webinar, please ask lots of questions in the Q&A section of Zoom for Joel and Chris to address at the end of their presentation, and feel free to share any other comments, experiences, or top tips in the chat section. And if there's a particular question in the Q&A section that you would like answered, you can also upvote questions for them to be answered first. Finally, if you encounter any sound or image issues, please let me know in the chat and I'll do my very best to get the session back to normal as soon as I can. And without further ado, let me hand over to Joel.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see so many of you here. So yeah, just to give a bit about this webinar anyway. So this webinar is part of the Nonprofit Digital Transformation project brought to you by TechSoup, Charity Digital, and the Microsoft Data Center Community Affairs team. Whilst we're getting some of those slides up, I'll just let our work of those in the background as well. To give you a background about firstly about TechSoup. So TechSoup is a global network made up of 63 partner organizations. Its goal is to support nonprofits as they work with technology to help build a more equitable planet. TechSoup hosts a catalogue of affordable technology products from major tech brands like Microsoft, obviously, Dell, Zoom, Adobe, and many more. Also offers training courses, support, and grants to charities to help them achieve their digital goals. In the meantime as well, while we're getting those slides up as well, I'll just tell you a bit about Charity Digital. So Charity Digital was established as a charity in 2009 to help other charities accelerate their missions using digital technology. And to date, 77,000 charities saved in excess of 284 million in technology investments through the Charity Digital Exchange. And that's the UK's only software donation program. And what can we offer to charities in that sense as well? So we help charities embrace digital in 3 key ways. That's by providing access to software products charities need at dramatically reduced prices, offering our own email platform through .digital, direct debit processing service, and trusted customer support online and via the phone. Great, so excellent, so nice to see the slides up there. So it's just a little bit of information about TechSoup. I'll just give you a few more seconds to digest. And then the next slide. There's the world map I promised. Very impressive, and like I said, oranges are obviously the offices where they're based. So TechSoup is a global organization, and all the countries of blue are sort of where they operate or the sort of the countries that they serve and help out. Next slide, please. Great. Yep, so we're on to some of the Charity Digital bits there, which is great. Like I said, just take a few moments to take that in. Like I said a few moments ago, like I said, the 3 key main things that we do is providing charities with software at discounted and automatically discounted rate, offering our own email platforms, direct debit processing service and support online, and also publishing content and running webinars like today and events that educate the charity sector. Next slide, please. And I'll kindly pass over to Chris to take over.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you very much. Don't worry about the technology issues at the start. I promise this slide will go better than that. They say never work with live animals, children, or technology. So, look, I just want to spend a few minutes today just to explain our efforts at Microsoft to create a positive impact for people and the planet in conjunction with our valued partners at TechSoup and Charities Digital. I want to talk about how we are sharing our fundamental approach to driving social impact, which is our vision within the TSI team. But first, I want to say I've got one of the luckiest jobs at Microsoft. I get to work with our fantastic partners and in turn with fantastic organizations such as yourself, and to hear about the great work you're doing in this sector. Next slide, please. So at Microsoft, we believe that technology is a powerful force for empowering people and organizations. We see it every day in our work, whether that's data and AI helping predict malaria outbreaks, or humanitarian organizations delivering digital literacy to displaced people. We truly believe that the success of the non-profit sector is critical to how we achieve our mission as a company. But to do this, we must make the benefits of the world-class technology accessible, relevant, but most of all, affordable for non-profits and NGOs. And as a customer-first, partner-led company, we start with the needs of you, our customers, and we work with our partners such as TechSoup and Charities Digital to deliver the best outcomes for each organisation. So next slide, please. I think we'll all agree we're living in a changed world. Post-COVID, the world has changed in so many and profound and fundamental ways. And we've seen the role of technology have a positive impact as we've all tried to survive through the pandemic. The level of technology adoption has rapidly accelerated. And as we think about that pace of transformation, we have to understand the consequences of that transformation as well, but also what our role of that transformation is. Next slide, please. So we see the digital divide and the opportunity continue to grow, but many people are left behind. The number of kids, for example, in sub-Saharan Africa that are literate at the age of 10, and that's when you stop learning to read and you read to learn, is only 10%. So 90% of kids can't read in sub-Saharan Africa. That means they can't get a job. That means the economic opportunity gap is growing, and COVID had an impact, but technology has a role to play. We look at the persistent fundamental rights issues. We see a tragic and unlawful war unfolding and hopefully coming to an end very soon over in Ukraine. But we see human rights today and every day and the news being violated in Ukraine, in the UK, in America, and over in Australia, where I do a lot of work myself. Technology has a role to play. We see an urgent climate crisis. 2021, at the end of June, it was 106 degrees in Seattle, where our head office was. In the Netherlands, it was baking at the same time. In the UK, we had the hottest summer on record last year, and then it snowed a month later. That's not normal, and there's a role for technology to play in that. But most importantly for us, and this is why we're here on this webinar today, is there is a diminishing trust in big tech. There are questions about our motives, our motivations. It's critical that we apply technology and innovations to address these challenges without sacrificing our core values of trust, privacy, transparency, and inclusion. Next slide, please. So we need to evolve. We realized we need to evolve and think about a different business model in supporting you and the societal changes that we aim to enact on. In 2017, Microsoft Philanthropies brought its contribution efforts together, commercial sales and business development to create tech for social impact. And as we work to help everyone achieve more, we're committed to sharing our learnings and reporting our progress across a variety of societal causes, such as affordable housing, digital skilling, climate change, AI for Good, a very topical one at the moment. And TSI combines our grants with our non-profit commercial engagement in one single team globally to accelerate impact through technology. We deliver solutions to empower social breakthroughs and help accelerate Microsoft's philanthropic efforts through our efforts and those of our partners. We don't just provide technology grants, and this is where it gets really, really cool, I believe. We reinvest any profit we make from discount sales to larger charities back into the sector to help smaller ones. It gives free business premium license, for example, to those with 10 or fewer employees, which actually make up 80% of the world's 4 million nonprofit organizations. It helps nonprofits modify Microsoft software to meet your specific needs, such as fundraising, mobilizing volunteers, and volunteer engagement. What we do is we in part connect them with helpers in the company's global partner ecosystem, and we offer free digital skills training, which we'll touch on a little bit later. Next slide, please. So the Tech for Social Impact team is truly committed to this sector and to the idea it's absolutely core to Microsoft's mission to empower every nonprofit and international development organization with Microsoft technology to accelerate social impact. Next slide, please. But our work has only just begun. This year marks TSI's 5-year anniversary, but we are more motivated than ever. In 2022, our financial year, we provided $3.2 billion in grants and discounted software. That includes services, and we equipped 330,000 nonprofit organizations with our modern, secure, and scalable cloud solutions. In July 2020, we launched an initiative to help 25 million people worldwide acquire the digital skills needed in a COVID-19 economy. Everything we do is driven by this deep sense of purpose and the timeless values of trust, privacy, transparency, and inclusion. Values that our customers have come to expect from us, but today's fast-changing society requires of us. Next slide, please. I just want to really touch now on what our partner ecosystem does. We are so lucky to have an amazing partner ecosystem. We have over 400,000 partners worldwide, and TechSoup and Charities Digital are super important in the role that Tech Social Impact plays. Our partners are trusted architects. They are system integrators, advisors, managed service providers. They have deep technical expertise and a proven track record in this sector. They understand your problems and they work to solve them. And that robust partner ecosystem has been with us every step of the way to leverage this foundation to develop even more solutions around the globe. We couldn't do this without our partners. We will accomplish the most by collaborating together. We deeply value partners aligned to our innovation strategy and partners who can extend, deliver, support cross-cloud solutions. You'll hear a lot more from Joel once I finish talking. Next slide, please. So I will share these slides after the presentation, so please don't feel like you need to take all this in at once. But this is just some of our kind of hero nonprofit offers that you can go and access straight away today. If you're not signed up to nonprofit discounts via TechSoup, please go and talk to them. They will help you along the way with the eligibility checks, and then you can start consuming these discounted offers as soon as possible. Next slide, please. This is another slide of just some quick links and talk around eligibility, some of our other fundraising and engagement webinars that we've hosted lately. And this is really talking in your language. This is very specific to you as an industry, and this is absolutely trying to address some of your problems to drive your mission. Next slide, please. So finally, the question really is, what is our role in the modern day? So Milton Friedman, the renowned economist, said the role of a company is to serve its shareholders, that greed is good. But the definition has evolved because it turns out that companies don't operate in some parallel universe or some vacuum outside of this planet. We are affected by the world around us, whether that be global warming as touched on earlier, or poverty, or our next market in Africa. Billions of people in our world are affected. So the new definition of what a company needs to do, every company came from the Business Roundtable. That's 181 CEOs who came together and decided that the role of a company is not to serve its shareholders, but the role of a company is to serve its stakeholders. At Microsoft, our stakeholders are our employees, in me, our partners in TechSoup and Charity Digital, but most importantly, our customers and the communities that we operate in. So quite simply, our philosophy at Microsoft is simple. Companies that can do more should do more, and we are. Next slide. And with that, I'll hand over to Joel, who will be taking you through the rest of the presentation. Please do pop any questions in the chat, and I'm more than happy to answer that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that, Chris. Really, it was really great to hear some of the insights there, and really good to hear that. If we could just go back one more slide for me there, please. Thank you very much. So just want to tell you a bit about why we're doing this. So this webinar is part of the non-profit Digital Transformation Journey project, which aims to provide selected participants with 4 months of free training and support to help them on their digital transformation journey. Now, charities interested in applying can find the application form in the chat box and linked on these slides, which we'll send around after the webinar. You can also contact our training manager, Leslie Fernandez, with any questions you may have via his email, which we've also popped in the slide here. Next slide, please. Yep, so I said my name's Joel Hogan. I'm the Programs Manager at Charity Digital. I've been working for Charity Digital for nearly 6 years in numerous ways. So that's from frontline support and account management, all the way to partner relationships and strategy. Yeah, so I really love working here. So let's look at today's agenda. Next slide. Oh, there we go. We're on it. Thank you. So just to look at those are our agenda spots today. So what is digital transformation and why do charities need it? How an organization can benefit from digital transformation, intro to the digital transformation framework, how to start, what can go wrong, and then our Q&A session at the end. Next slide, please. So let's kick off with what is digital transformation and why charities need it. Digital transformation is about change based on introduction of new technologies to the organization. Next slide, please. So here you can see a definition of digital transformation. Ultimately, it's about using technology to help deliver greater impact for people we serve, whether that's increasing staff capacity, improving our decision-making, or creating better services. It's not a one-time action, but a continuous process in which an organization integrates digital technology into all areas of operations, changing to a larger extent, sometimes completely, the current way of functioning in the space of technology and beyond. Next slide, please. In January 2023, there were 5.16 billion internet users worldwide, which is 64.4% of the global population. Big number. Results of the Civil Society Global Study 2020 show that 75% organizations see the benefit in using and investing in technology to make their jobs easier and more efficient, but only 22% of them have a defined strategy and timeline for achieving their digital readiness. Next slide, please. At Charity Digital, we are thinking about digital transformation as a process that happens through a series of mini transformations in different areas of your technology capacity. We know that many organizations operate in an ad hoc manner with regards to their systems, choosing technology, and based on immediate needs. These organizations are likely to either have no person among the team responsible for digital transformation, to not have a relevant strategy of communicating changes, and do not envisage any changes concerning tech in the near future. Next slide, please. So yeah, how an organization can benefit from transformation. Next slide, please. It might not be immediately obvious, but online activities conducted by organizations will become more important every year. However, creating, for example, a website and maintaining a social media account should not be confused with digital transformation by organizations. The transformation itself, as it was said earlier, is a much broader concept and contains many components that, when implemented together, introduce a new way of functioning for the organization as a whole. It's not only about enhancing their impact, but among all, it's about changes to processes related to the organization's culture, how it functions, and the creation and experience of services by all interested parties, from beneficiaries to funders and partners. These changes can be understood as the transformation of old rules or the creation of completely new ones. When thinking about implementing changes, we should remember that the transformation is not a separate entity from the organization itself. It cannot be understood only as a simple act of bringing computers with newer software for employees. It is not impossible to get introduced by one person. That requires joint effort, willingness, and engagement of the whole team. We need to think about digital transformation on 3 levels: the mission of the organization, the impact that technology will help to achieve, and the areas in which the organization needs to change or support. Next slide, please. So this is where the TechSoup digital transformation framework comes in. We're acknowledged that digital transformation is a very complex process with various activities within. Next slide, please. So when breaking down this process, we need to keep in mind the elements that go into it: technology, people, and processes. So for technology, we should think about whether digital solutions are fulfilling the needs of our organization. For people, it's considering how staff relate to think about technology, and processes. We're thinking about how technology is actually used and the policies we need to put in place. Next slide, please. The TechSoup digital transformation framework, 6 focus areas. So then we need to think about all the areas within the organization that digital transformation can affect. Within the TechSoup digital transformation framework, which we've linked in the chat box, all areas of digital transformation contain sub-areas that allow you to better manage your own needs and prepare a plan for implementing changes in a more comprehensive way. The 6 digital transformation focus areas are program delivery and management, fundraising and development, communication and marketing, operations and collaboration, digital security, hardware and infrastructure. TechSoup's digital assessment tool helps charities perform a comprehensive assessment of their digital capabilities in the functional area. To better understand that relevant area of area that might deal with, let's look at some of the examples. Next slide, please. So let's take a look here at program delivery management. The scenario, you do not know what stage individual members are in the implementation of their projects. In order to find the right digital solution, you first need to outline your needs. For example, it may be helpful to list the tasks together with the people responsible and the date of task completion in a place that's easily accessible and visible to everyone in your team. For this, you can use a few different programs such as Microsoft Project Online, you can use Asana, or you might even use boards such as Planner or Trello. These project management tools can be used to inform your weekly team meeting and update knowledge based on previously assigned tasks. You can break down each task into subtasks and view all tasks in a calendar view or in a simple list to keep program delivery on track. Next slide, please. So we'll look at another case here, and this time it's around communications and marketing. So the scenario is that you want to prepare a new marketing campaign in which you will create materials for print, web, and mobile versions. The solution is you use simple templates and tips to prepare graphics and then adapt them and paste the content to the appropriate formats. Tools that you can use for this could include Canva Pro, Adobe Express, or Adobe Cloud, for example. So both Canva and Adobe Express enable you to create designs, images, presentations, and slideshows. These can be used to communicate with your audience, whether it is imagery and blurbs via social media, or providing slides and presentations via video conferencing. Adobe Express also comes with a social media scheduling tool, allowing you to plan your posts way in advance and save resources in time. Adobe Cloud has numerous apps that can transform your communications and marketing, from designing images using the ever-famous Photoshop, designs and icons using Illustrator, or maybe even using InDesign for digital magazines, posts, and interactive PDFs. Next slide, please. So finally, how does the digital transformation apply to your hardware and infrastructure? The next scenario could be you are not able to install a program yourself and no hints from the technical team are working. Solution to that could be you could use a remote desktop so that a support person can have direct access to your computer and help you repair it, change settings or update it. You can use something like Microsoft Remote Desktop for that, or the product called TeamViewer. Both TeamViewer and Microsoft Remote Desktop services can allow you to receive support from your IT person or expert remotely, providing them the ability to view and control your device remotely, avoiding the need for a physical presence for assistance. Perfect for a world now that has so much hybrid working. So every organization is different, so it's unlikely they will look the same in every need. Therefore, it is very important to conduct a thorough needs analysis based on these 6 areas and their components. Next slide, please. So, guess the question, how can you join the digital transformation process? How to do it? Next slide, please. Oh, there we go, sorry, we're already there. You can apply to join the nonprofits portal. Bear with me a moment. Apologies for that. Okay, so you can apply to join the nonprofit's digital transformation project and receive TechSoup support. The program will support 2 organisations in your community. To apply for the project, you need to do so before the 11th of July by filling out the form we supplied earlier and via the links I mentioned in the chat box as well. You can reach out to your TechSoup partner for support. So that's us at Charity Digital. You can contact our customer success team via phone, email, or live chat via our website, charitydigital.org.uk. Or you may use TechSoup's digital assessment tool, DAT, to self-assess the areas where you can digitally transform effectively. It's a free web-based application that helps non-profit organizations assess their technology needs and understand their digital capabilities, providing customized recommendations and tools to manage the digital transformation journey. Next slide, please. As you can see from the diagram here, no matter which way your organization decides to go, your journey will be the same. Starting from initial assessment of your digital capabilities, followed by rating and initial recommendations to improve it. After that, you start the repetitive cycle of engaging and adopting resources, reassessment of your capability after the changes you've made so far, and identifying new recommendations to implement. Next slide, please. So during digital transformation, it's important not to forget that the most important piece of the puzzle is our staff and volunteers within the organisation. It is very important to recognise the team's needs related to new technologies, that represented level digital skills and support needs, as well as the readiness for proposed changes. Because digital transformation is a change, and with as many other processes of the change in an organisation, it has to be managed properly, according to change management principles. So just for example, leaders of the change need to take care of people and make sure that they are engaged in the process in a safe and comfortable way. It is necessary to proceed the digital transformation strategy planning with consultations with the team, and then, having more detailed information, present a change implementation plan, including times when the changes will be evaluated. Planned activities presented in detail and accessible for people who are not tech savvy will be received with much greater openness. Introducing changes should be accompanied by evaluation and encouragement to team members to proactively participate in the process. Next slide, please. So as we've mentioned from the very beginning, the digital transformation of an organization is a process. In addition, it is a process whose central point is the human being and their needs in the organization. That means that something can go wrong and you should be ready for it because it is a natural part of the process. Need to improve what does not work for the better or help us learn from mistakes made while growing. Now, let's show what can go wrong because it's easier to prepare for the known, sorry, not unknown. Next slide, please. There we go. Thank you. So lack of consensus of what digital transformation is. So for some, the transformation will be the purchase of new equipment. For others, the introduction of cloud file storage. It is worth explaining in the team what transformation means for each of them, so that the introduction of changes will not be a surprise or implemented as an afterthought. Communication around the changes will be consistent and understandable for the team. No plan ready to go. Introducing changes quickly without conducting a proper analysis and planning actions in time can be a recipe for chaos. To streamline the process of digital transformation, it is worth planning everything and knowing when changes will be monitored and how. So resistance to changes. People differ in terms of digital skills and knowledge, obviously. Those who know less may feel anxious about the changes being introduced. Therefore, it is important to carry out changes in agreement and consultation with the team. Final point, lack of support at the management and technological level. Can't see that word today. So this can lead to frustration. I don't know how this program works or something like that. And confusion such as they made changes and now we have to deal with them ourselves. Especially during the transition period when old methods are still in use and new rules are being introduced. Confusion can also arise when people are working on multiple tools. So old ones that they are familiar and comfortable with and new ones required by the management. Next slide, please. So we know that digital transformation is not a simple process, especially with these challenges in mind. But as we said, preparedness and planning is key. And at Charity Digital, we are here to help. Next slide, please. So here's how we can help uncomplicate the process. So Charity Digital can help your organization in many, many ways. So as mentioned previously, we provide a wide range of content on how you can transform your organization digitally. So we regularly publish articles, podcasts, webinars, events on a huge array of digital topics from digital fundraising to cybersecurity. And aside from that, you can get in touch with us directly via phone, email, and live chat, like I mentioned earlier. We can help recommend products based on your current needs and support you with implementing them. We also encourage charities to use Tech's digital transformation framework to analyze your organizations and internal processes and use its digital assessment tool to check digital needs. And finally, we encourage you to remember that digital transformation is a process that your team should be involved in creating. And the aim of transformation itself is that the organization benefits from it without feeling frustrated or overwhelmed by new solutions because it's the right way. Following the framework, we will help you create your plan, but you as an organization are the ones that are in control. And next slide. Question time.
Thank you for that presentation, Joel. I found that really interesting. And I just wanted to thank everyone for their patience with all of the tech issues we had at the beginning of this session. Now, we've had a few questions already, and I just wanted to remind people that you can still add more questions and also upvote any questions that you would like answered first. So I'm going to dive straight in. So the first question is, what software has Charity Digital used that has helped with delivery and could be considered transformational?
Oh, great question. Good question there. So I've got a few examples. The main obvious one would be Office 365. There's a couple of real simple but essential aspects to 365 now, which I think has been transformational to our organization and pretty much any other organization that implements it. One being is that your license follows you as a person rather than your device. So in the past, you may have used something like Office 2019, 2016, which are still viable ways of using Microsoft, absolutely. But that license in the past would be directly installed on the device you're using. But with 365, it's the subscription follows you as an individual. So that means you can hop between devices, something that we've used at Charity Digital in the past. We've used multiple devices such as laptops and work computers as well. So that flexibility, particularly during something like the COVID-19 pandemic, was really, really useful to be able to take your license anywhere. It's great. And another really, I mean, I could go on features of Microsoft, but another key one for me is Microsoft Teams. In terms of collaboration, definitely transformational in the way that you can share your documents between teams. You can have obviously your videos or sort of internal calls or even external as well. And also just the chat function as well. In the past, you can send those quick messages to people when you need something done, something like that. Maybe like one of the examples I mentioned in the presentation, maybe you need a certain task done on something like Microsoft Project or Asana, and you can just give them a little, though poke is still a terminology used in the modern day, but just to say, hey, what's going on with that? So you can use Microsoft Teams for that. Outside of Microsoft, a couple of examples, we've had a few. We use a system called Front, which sits on top of 365 for us, and it really helps us organize our emails a little bit more into teams a little bit more, which is great. It helps us sort of keep track of what types of emails we're receiving at Charity Digital. There's a really good tagging system that that Front has, so we can break down whether they are your typical customer service queries or someone would like to collaborate with Charity Digital and so on. It's really helped us in that sense. Another example would be something called Guru, which has really been transformational in our team in the past sort of year or so. So it's a really good, to describe it, I think it would be a really good form of onboarding software. So it's, and some people might see it's like almost like an intranet kind of type as well. It kind of falls into there. But basically, essentially what it does is that you can get all of your processes written down into simple cards that can be bite-sized and digestible. And I think we all know here in the charity sector, one of the biggest challenges is staff turnover. Obviously, volunteers come and go, and it can be tricky to onboard people effectively and quickly. Using something like Guru, you can get all your processes in one area. That could be their onboarding, perhaps their first week or first few days. They could just spend in your Guru ecosystem and learn about their various processes and basically get to work right in some nitty-gritty stuff really quickly. I could go on, but yeah, we've obviously got time, so I want to get some other questions as well. So
yeah, thank you for that. Like, yeah, you mentioned quite a few, and yeah, I found Guru really helpful, especially like if someone goes on leave as well, they can just say like, this is what I need covered, and it makes the whole process a lot easier.
Absolutely.
So we had another question come in saying, what options are out there for charities with regards to tackling digital security?
Great, yeah. So that was one of the, obviously we could only go through a few of the 6 main points today, but digital security was one of the ones we didn't touch on today, but I'm happy to go over that a little bit. So your first, one of the first starting points is you can view the content of Charity Digital. The past 18 months or so, I mean, we've always been sort of aware of how important digital security is, but in the past sort of 18 months, I'd say we've really been able to produce a lot of different content, articles and webinars and stuff. This links to one of my first recommendations or first stop shop for any charities looking at digital security is to visit our friends at the National Cyber Security Centre. They really provide great bite-sized information, or digestible, certainly not bite-sized, but digestible information for charities to help them become a little bit more security aware. They can help you with a number of different things and topics. One of them being, for example, they can help you point the right direction for getting your Cyber Essentials certification. like that, point the direction for cyber insurance as well, working with companies like IASME is a big one that we're also friends with as well. I'm glad that type of question came up, as it is important that charities do think about cybersecurity. They may or may not know, but in terms of the charity sector or the non-profit sector as well globally, it's one of the primary targets for cyber criminals for a number of different reasons. But one of the obvious ones is that charities and non-profits tend to have lower sort of grade of security in terms of their own internal processes. They might not even have antivirus or other types of software in places to protect them as well. And yeah, outside of that, once you visited, had a look at our articles, visited the National Cybersecurity Centre, you want to consider some sort of protection for yourself. Obvious one, if you're using Microsoft, is Windows Defender. It's available as a standalone license, and also comes included in the business premium offer as well, which is great. And outside of that as well, there's a couple of different levels of Windows Defender, which is great in terms of the level of security you need. Got some of the other things like enterprise mobility and security, and Intune, which is really a really popular product in terms of helping you have better visualization of your the multiple devices your charity uses, and you can protect them more. And so that's in the realm of Microsoft. We work with several partners as well outside of Microsoft that can help you with your cybersecurity needs, such as Avast, Norton, Bitdefender. And then one just a little bit left field here, but I really like it, and we've used it very recently in Charity Digital, is one called Know Before. So it's basically what it does is it tests your staff internally on how great, what their knowledge is of cybersecurity, and depending on the results, Know Before will send that individual user on like an online course to better their own processes. It can be a big scary world for cybersecurity, and it's really recommended that you can take some little but really positive steps from the offset. So something basic as in terms of you might want to employ multi-factor or two-factor authentication is a big one these days. If you get any sort of software updates, and that's not just for your computer but your phones, anything like that, make sure that you update when you can as well. And as a charity as a whole, you might want to look at if you are in the place of getting a website or that type of thing, you might want to apply for your own domain as well. The reason why domain is important, it sort of breeds a little bit more trust in your audience if you're speaking to someone with a professional looking email domain, rather than someone who's using something a little bit generic, which could be created very quickly by, in many cases, cyber criminals as well. Anyway, another big waffle question answer there. I hope that was useful.
No, that was great. Thank you. And seeing as you mentioned the NCSC, the National Cybersecurity Centre, I would also just like to alert attendees to the fact that we have a workshop coming up on the 1st of August, which is completely free to attend. It'll be 2.5 hours long with both the NCSC and IASME, in order to kind of discover where your charity is at with the Cyber Essentials tool, and really boost your digital security. So moving on, we have had a question in the chat from Flora. Thank you, Flora. Is there a digital tool that you can recommend to help a small charity track and quantify their impact?
Quantify their impact. It depends on how you're measuring impact in terms of what type of charity you could be. So for example, if you're a charity that relies greatly, I know this is quite common, but something with like donations and donor tracking and things like that, you might want to look at some CRMs. Donor Perfect is a fund management and donor tracking CRM, if you want to go in that direction in terms of that kind of impact. Other ways as well, like I mentioned internally, we use something called Front, and because we at Charity Digital get a whole host of sort of communications via email, live chat on a daily basis. We tag the types of conversations that we're having, and we're able to then track those conversations like later down the line and it could be daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly basis to see how much impact that we're having in perhaps a particular topic that's been tagged. So we might, just an example, we could have a tag in there called cybersecurity. And when we could have a look at all the different types of cybersecurity conversations that we're having, we're able to measure impact that way. As although we do have our, we do resell lots of different products at Charity Digital, we do like to be impartial as well. And we often recommend products outside of our sort of ecosystem, for a better word. There all the time, and we know that those conversations, even recommending organizations that we don't work with directly with, is helping us deliver impact. Not sure if I've fully answered that question there, but I know that we do, like, obviously we sort of email questions later on, that stuff, so we can explore that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. And yes, we will send around a survey later, and as well as when you exit the Zoom call, the survey will automatically prompt. So please feel free to give any and all feedback so we can continue to better our webinars. Another question has just come into the Q&A section for you, Joel, saying, do you have advice about digital policies, for instance, BYOD, and where to get advice on writing them?
Oh, the policies, this one. We do have, I think we've got some articles on that one. It hasn't come off the top of my mind because we have a very talented content team who can produce so much material that sometimes I struggle to keep up. So what we can do is we can take that offline, and we can find the specific articles that have spoken about that on our on the Charity Digital website as well. If for some reason, if I've completely got it wrong and we haven't done that, we can actually look into doing some content on that. What's great about our content team is they're very, very open to topics that come our way, which we may not have covered. And that's happened. They're very great at that, being very reactive to our audience who've perhaps asked for information and stuff, but we may not necessarily have initially, but we do get back out at a later point. One was for, I think, really like content managers, management systems. We've had that come through a couple of times as a query. And I know that's, we've done some content on that very, very recently. So yeah, I just saw that response there. So we've got, so the BYOD, by all means, yeah, we can have a look into that there for you. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And you can always feel free to contact us via live chat or by emailing the events@charitydigital.org.uk email address, and we'll always try to provide as much information as possible. Yeah, but as Joel said, our content team is always happy to write something up and help you do the research. Now, if anyone else has any questions, feel free to pop them in the Q&A section. But if not, I would like to thank you, Joel and Chris, for joining us today, and to TechSoup and Microsoft for helping us put on this webinar, and also to thank you to everyone who attended. As always, I think this was a great and really engaging webinar, albeit the few tech issues right at the beginning. If you could share your feedback with us, that would be fantastic. My colleague Raquel has pasted the link in the chat, and you'll also receive a prompt just after you leave this page. And finally, our next webinar will be about how charities can access free tech with Joel. So you'll get to see his lovely face again. And importantly, the webinar is also free, and we will be pasting the link in the chat. So I hope to see you there. And thank you.
I was just going to say, remember part 2 of our webinar here as well. So make sure everyone comes and follows up with us on that. It's going to be a really great follow-up to today.
Yeah, great. Sorry, forgot to mention that one. It's on the 19th of July. Thank you, Joel.
There we go, 19th of July. There we go. Let's look forward to seeing everyone.